Two brothers, one mission: to bike to Mecca and launch a real-life narrative Memecoin around the journey. The Bashbrothers helped promote the project, it launched, and then it died. Were the lamBrothers serious about this project, or was it a scam from the get-go? We are the Bashbrothers, and this is the true story.
Bash Bros, Bash Bros, Bash Bros.
What's up, guys? What a disaster. This one hits home a little harder because we endorsed it. So I think a great place to start is to personally apologize to the community, because there were some that got involved in this just because we endorsed it. You know what I'm saying? So we don't take that lightly at all. We did our background checks on this. This thing checked out, and still it fell through. So as you can see in the background, this is this back and forth that I was going with the dev that I was in touch with, just trying to figure out what happened, where this all went wrong, getting all the facts. It's a long story, right? Just getting all the details and all the information. This goes on forever, and so instead of boring you guys through it all, I'm going to just simply put out some facts, and then you guys can just take it from there. All right, cool, let's dive in. All right, so it starts out with this one guy that reaches out to us one day in our community. He's been around for a while, right? He's used our services. He's been quite active in the past. So it's not just some stranger. He's been around, right? Anyway, so one day he reaches out to us and he's like, "Hey, bro, I dev. Would you like to get involved in one of our projects?" And I'm just like, "Nah, bro. We don't do that crap. We know how dicey these things get." And anyway, so he's just like, "Listen, man, just hear me out. Listen to the project that we've got going on, right?" He's got two friends, right, that are brothers that have their own massive TikTok following, and he's saying that he's got a really good connection with them, and his goal is for them together is to go on this journey and then to record their journey, and that these guys would have a project, be pushing this Memecoin project, but this guy's the main guy, okay, right? So because these guys are friends, they're just like, yeah, let's do this whole thing together. These guys have their role, which is to be the face, and then to help get the publicity and all that sort of stuff, right? But this guy here is the main guy that's deving, right? So let's just make that get the record straight on that, because these guys are getting like death threats and stuff like that, which is, it's a part of the game, man. If you're going to take the face of a project and it turns south like that, this is what happens. And so this guy said, "Hey, bro, make sure that these guys all know that it wasn't these guys," right? So it wasn't them. This is how it all played out, right? So this guy's the main guy. He's the one with all the money, or that's forking out a lot of the money. Anyway, so he has a couple of other boys that he's worked with, and I don't know who they are, but that's his team. And these guys, their goal is to buy up 80% of the supply, right? 50% was to be burned, okay, goes to the burn, and another 30%, okay, was to go to a market maker, right? And then this 30% is responsible for making the team all their money, right, through this market maker. Okay, so that's that here. This is the core team right here, along with this guy, right? That's the that's the team, right? So now that they have that sorted, right, the goal was to use some of the funding, and actually, I'll add this in here as well. They had some Muslim investors that were keen to jump on board and help fund this whole project. So there was a lot of money behind this project that was going to be put onto this project in installments as this project was going to progress. Anyways, so right off the bat, this guy's using all his money, right? And he brings in all these other influencers in the space on YouTube and on X. A lot of them wanted supply, but he was paying them out in Solana, okay? Right? And so let me give you an example of just a couple of them. So we go on X. See this guy here. This guy was one of them. Where's he at? See here? So he was pushing the project. He got paid to do it. This girl here.
To cycle from the UK to Mecca.
Oh my gosh, she sounds annoying. It's silent too. Anyway, so she was there to push the project as well. So she was one of them as well. So there was heaps of others that all were asked to push the project. Where am I at? To help push this project, right? So this guy's forking out money to all of these guys up front, right? And that. So now we are here, right? And this guy said to me personally, because he's obviously got a pretty decent relationship with me, he's just like, "Hey, you can get supply. I'll give you say 1%, but it's going to be on a vesting schedule over a certain amount of weeks. And please don't dump. Please don't full clip out of this project. Just be respectful. We know who you guys are. We trust you. So I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, no problem, sweet as. The goal, once we decided to get on behind the project, the goal was that this contract address was to be dropped at 7 or just before 7. It actually dropped at 6:59, if I remember correctly, and then we were to get it at 6:58. Our instructions were to snipe, to not touch a single token, just to hold this thing and let it go, right? Let this thing build over time to help build a solid floor in the project. So we agreed to it and we said, yeah, no problem, all good, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive on chart, and I'm going to show you guys how this whole thing played out compared to what we have here, and then you'll see the facts for what they are. I'll even dive into my own wallets, okay, and show you guys the wallets that we control. So the first thing we need to see is that right here, let me just right here, the timestamp of when we received the token. So we received it at 1:58 my time in the morning, which is 6:58 UK time, right? And so it dropped at 6:59, right before 7 o'clock on the dot. We got it at 6:58. Okay. Now the first thing that I want to go to here on this token is that the top guy who pulled up $10,000. Let's see when he's buying up. So he bought here at 6:58. So it's like, oh, this is us, right? 6:58.32. Now, if it was just these two, then it's just like, oh man, this guy's sus because this guy dumped later on, right? But look at this, 6:58.21. But then he buys up at 6:56 as well, right? So therefore, it can't be us because we don't even have the contract, right? So this guy here, whoever this douchebag faggot is responsible for all of that, right? And this here, right off the bat, shows, it really destroyed the confidence of this whole project from the get-go. Okay, this other clip here was from some guy that sniped in the public, and once you see this, it's like, yeah, I'm out, right? And so he full clipped out. Feel sorry for this guy. This clip here was from someone that was buying up in here, right? But what this proves right here is someone, and I took it back to this guy and I told him the truth, man. I was just like, bro, I've gone on the charts and I can see someone in this group here has screwed everyone over, and this guy was pointing the finger at me saying, Bash, you did it, you were the one that did it. I was like, bro, how? Because I don't even have the contract. So it was one of these guys, either himself, or it was his two random mates, or it was the market maker. Now this guy here had a bit of a falling out with the market maker, and so he reckons it's the market maker. And I just said, bro, I don't care. At the end of the day, someone here screwed everyone over, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you our wallets. I'm going to show you our position, and this is really important because I want to make sure that everyone knows our intentions, and just like when we say we're going to do something, we follow through, okay? Even if it may sound stupid to people. So let me just bring up. All right, so this is one of our wallets, right? Post that into there. So as you can see, we bought up right in here, right, for 5 Solana, I think it was, yeah, 4.8, and then we top lossed it with three swaps, 5.8, 5.5, and 5.9, and we're still holding on to it. By the way, every single token we're still holding on to. As you can see, nothing's been sold, right? So that was one of our wallets. We had another wallet as well. Yep, this is it. So check this one out. This was me just buying up in this dip. I think it was right in here. Remember, the earliest that we could have bought is in that time right there. Right? See, look, I bought up in there for 4.9 Solana and still holding. Right? So all of our all of our positions we've held, right? And if we were rugging this thing and we were doing all this crap, then why would we not buy it? Why would we not sell out of like what we are clearly like top blasting and still holding on to, right? When I saw this, I was like, oh no, yeah, we've got problems here, right? And then I saw on chain straight away that it was from one of the insiders, right? I knew it was their problem. This is their problem, right? Now, guys, after all this crap happens, right, I start seeing this thing slowly drop off, right? And I'm just like, uh-oh. I knew straight away that this is the main guy, this guy right here. He's pulling the liquidity out. How can we tell? Well, it's easy. You look to see who's doing that swap, and you find out where they're buying, right? So if I get rid of that, and just scroll down to, let's just say, one of these wallets. You see that? These actually, well, that's a bit later. But let's go to someone that's a little bit earlier than that. Let's say this guy here. No, we'll find some. No, frick. There's all these wallets where this guy starts pulling out the liquidity all in here. So I seen this happen live, right? And even though I saw it happen live, I knew that I was getting rugged. I still held onto my position. Now you might say, that's stupid, Bash. Why the hell did you do that? Well, this is the reason. Because how can I endorse a project to our community, right? And then bail on everyone while everyone's still holding. Do you know what I mean? To me, that just doesn't sit right with us. And so we just said goodbye to those funds and parted ways. You know what I mean? I knew what I was getting into. I knew the risks, but it wouldn't be good if we bailed from a project that we told everyone else to hold on to. Do you see what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I even hit the guy up and I was like, bro, you're pulling the liquidity out. What's going on? And he's like, hey, I don't know who to trust. I think it's you that's clipped out of this. And I'm just like, bro, how is it us? Because if you just simply go to your tool, you can see that someone who has the contract before us is responsible for all of this, right? So it shows how volatile and how like fragile, I think that's probably the right word, how fragile relationships get when money's on the line in this sort of game. Because once one person shows some form of weakness, then it's just like everyone just turns their backs on each other, and this is why we can't get anywhere in this space. It's just such a there's never a dull moment in this space, man. You know what I mean? And so what happened during this period is that one of this guy's mates, I think one of these guys, said, "Nah, that's it, man. This is a sinking ship. I'm gonna bail." This guy's just like, because this guy here. Hold on. This guy here, he's forked out all the money, right? So he's thinking, crap, I need to try and recover and recoup some of the what is now going to be some of the losses that I'm going to incur. And so he's slowly pulling out the liquidity, and then he just fully takes it all out, right? That liquidity obviously is, his, because he put in quite a bit to get the market cap up and to own a lot of the supply. But yeah, bro, from there it was a downhill thing, man, and we held on all the way through, and even now. And I even told the guys, like, bro, like, if you're gonna rug the thing, at least reach out to us and let us know, right? Because I'm just thinking, oh, bro, this guy's just scamming us. But looking at the chart, I'm just able to see, I can see clearly that once this happened, then the next guy jumped out, then the next guy jumped out, and then this guy's trying to save his losses, right? Save a lot of or recoup a lot of the losses that he's going to incur from this project, right? So I think key takeaways from this for us, and just something that I want to just make sure everyone understands. These guys, at least based on what I understand, these guys are good guys, right? They are taking a lot of hate, man, because these guys actually said, oh yeah, we're the devs. But I don't actually think these guys know what that means. This guy's the real dev, right? but he's responsible because, and I told him this as well, because it was his job to make sure that his team is intact. If the market maker screwed them over, then bro, do better research on who you're bringing on as a market maker. Do you know what I'm saying? So just want to make sure, man, that just based on what I can see, these guys here, they're grinding. They're planning to grind this thing out, right? This guy told me, because I was just like, bro, tell me the truth, man. What's going on? And he's telling me that these guys had but they borrowed their uncle's camper van, and they're going to be traveling this distance with someone following them, and they were going to be sleeping in this camper van all these nights through this whole project, right? So they've gone and deleted all their posts. They're getting all these death threats. I've told this guy that he should probably tell them to come out open and just be transparent, like what I'm doing right here. You know what I'm saying? Rather than try to cover up to try and protect yourself, just be transparent, man, and just let everyone know. Do you know what I mean? If you've got nothing to hide, then just be straight up and honest with people. For this fella here, I've just been like, bro, you've got to take accountability as well, man, because you know you've let this happen in your own team. Do you know what I'm saying? And this guy is. If he just disappeared on me, then I would have been like, bro, clear signs. But he's shown up and he's just been like, yeah, you know what, man, you know. And so he's like, I've really put the heat on him. He's taken accountability for it. For us, you know, the first thing I said to you guys was, we're sorry. You know, we did research on this project, and this thing looked like a really good project. Even when all the crap hit the fan, these two brothers were trying to convince this guy to continue on with the project. They still wanted to do it, right? So I feel really bad for them. I feel really sorry for them. But this guy here, right, the reason why he bailed out was because he lost so much money already, right? And there was mistakes that had happened on this guy's part, definitely. It just wasn't a really good thing, right? We dropped around about maybe 26 or 27 Solana on the whole thing, and that's all gone. Do you know what I'm saying? But I can walk away from this knowing that we held strong, and that's the main takeaway for you guys as a community, is that we want to let you guys know that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. So the main lessons are, don't trust anyone, because everyone screws everyone in this game. These are meme coins. You know, you guys understand the risks. Our goal is to try and mitigate those risks as much as possible. But at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? You never know who you're dealing with when there's a lot of money on the line. So for us, the only way that we'll ever move forward again is if we have full control, because we can trust ourselves, as sad as that is. All right, guys, so that's a wrap up for this project. Let us know your guys' thoughts below. You guys may think we're stupid for doing what we did. You guys may not disagree with what we did, and that's totally cool as well, man. We're always open to hear different people's views on things and go from there. All right, man, take it easy, guys. We'll see you guys on another one.